Hey Capricorn, what's going on? We are here with your reading, what you need to know for February. So my plan for the reading, how we're going to break this down is we're going to do a breakdown for the first half of February. Then we are going to do a different spread, completely different for the second half of February. So first we're going to start with this one, then we're going to clean it up and we're going to pull a new spread. We're starting off first with 10 of Wands. Okay, this can be a time where there's so much going on that it can feel like hard to stay connected through this. You know, sometimes it's just easier to feel what you're feeling and it feels simple and it feels clear. This feels like so much going on. It feels like a surplus of feelings, and so because of that, feeling senses, you can feel like your sensitivity is heightened or just that there's more going on. It can feel like energetically there's a lot going on around you. And you can be at a point where it feels almost like, I don't even know what to do with this. Starting off with that 10 of Wands feels like so much intensity that's going on, or just like amount or volume that's going on, that it can be difficult to sort of know what to do with this, where to go, how to maneuver through this. I am seeing the 2 of Wands come out too, and it looks like the Page of Cups is looking over to that. So there can be, on one side of things, there can be a heavy-handed situation that's going on. It can be something that's kind of stressful, something that's kind of confusing for some of you. On the other hand, it looks like there's something else that feels a bit more simplistic that you can be going in the direction of, where it can feel more straightforward. And that can be the thing that you feel more attracted to right now. It can be the route that you feel more inclined to go towards. So yeah, maybe you're going to be looking out for what feels more simplistic rather than what feels more condensed. You don't need to be rushing to any conclusions. I'm seeing Sun and I'm seeing Temperance, which means that things are really going to become more straightforward here within this process. So with the Page of Cups, this is you maneuvering through a time where you're getting connected with how you're feeling, where if you've been trying to figure out what your intuition was drawing you towards, it can be a time where, like, slowly but surely, this is something that's coming to light. It can be a thawing out that's happening too. When you go through something and it feels like it takes a lot of energy for you to maneuver through, it can be a time where it's harder to get that concentrated feel of like what's going on and how you're feeling and that right sense of direction, where it just feels like intuitively, automatically you're moving through this. With Temperance being there, this can be something where you need to swim through the water without feeling like you need to rush to get into any place in particular. It feels like just being with your feelings right now throughout all of it, and slowly but surely everything is coming to light. And for some of you too, you can be putting a lot of focus and attention into what you've been working on currently, what you have going on. Some of you too, this can just be like work in general, or whatever is the most important investments going on within your life right now. That can be where a big part of your energy and your focus is going towards. But yeah, you could have been, with that 10 of Wands, I get this feeling of there being a lot of energy that's required of you given a situation. So it can be like, this feels so stressful, or this is taking so much energy, this requires so much energy. It's just one of those situations where I feel like you have to give and give and give and give. And because of that, you could have felt like stuff was happening with your energy, like maybe it's hard to concentrate today, but then it's easier to do it tomorrow. It feels like there's this like wavering that's been happening. And all of this while you're swimming through something emotionally, making sense of it. And it doesn't feel like a rush to make sense of anything. It just feels like naturally there's a progression here. Naturally there's a sense of direction. And things go from feeling like you can't really make out what's going on to then becoming very clear. The next steps becoming very clear, very transparent in a way that they hadn't been before, but you have to give this time to settle in. It feels like a bunch of mud and dust got kicked around and you're not going to be able to see through the water at that point in time. You have to wait until it settles to the bottom, and when it does, you are left feeling quite clear. You can see a much longer, further distance than you could before. But when it was in the midst of happening, you could have felt like your energy was blocked. So this can be your concentration is feeling blocked. It feels like the rays of the sun, something getting in the way from that hitting you. And so this can be something going on with your consciousness, something going on with your concentration, something going on with your vitality, something going on with your energy, where it's not like it was there, it just feels like it's been sort of covered up, blanketed by this situation. And so you've had to patiently allow things to begin to settle, and as that's happening, it's elucidating things for you that were not clear before, and what unfolds is clarity about what to be doing here and where to be going. But it's definitely taken patience for this to come about. This means as well you can be going through a time where it's felt very stressful, it's felt very busy, and you could have been having a hard time finding your sense of direction through that. That doesn't mean... It's like if the sun is going to give you your sense of direction, but the clouds are covering it, it's not that the sun isn't there. The sun is still there shining. It's just that something's in between. Something that's been going on. And for some of you for a while, this has been a building situation. It's been the cloud. But now it looks like those clouds are dissipating, and because of that, it's allowing the sunlight to seep through now, and slowly but surely, things are becoming very, very clear, and then you're left with this clear sense of direction. And it can even be pointing out to a simplified, if you're at a crossroads here, what do you want to do? Rather than having this and that and this over there, it feels like just a more simplistic, this is the situation, what do you want to do about it? This is how we're going to move through. Think about this, organizing, planning. So you can even be slowly developing a plan, but I'm seeing your intuition be part of this, what you're doing here. And that's something where you can't rush that. You have to be receptive, and in that receptivity, that's where it all comes to you and becomes clear and becomes apparent. So right now can be really important for you to center and to ground so you can receive what you need to know clearly what the next steps will be. And all this going on in the first 2 weeks of February, again, slowly but surely things are coming to light. I feel like there's a very apparent, you can feel quite conflicted. You're at a crossroads, you feel conflicted about it. Do I want to go this way? Do I want to go that way? It feels stressful that this is going on now. It can feel stressful, it can feel draining, it can feel annoying that this is happening, bothersome. You can be at a point where you're like, oh, why can't it just be clear right now? Just waiting to sober up here within this to be able to see clearly. But I feel like I do get this sense that I feel like the timing of those clouds coming out and blocking what's been going on, there's something very deliberate about the timing of that, and it can even be delaying something. Like, I wanted to be doing this sooner, but there was just too much congestion. It wasn't possible to do that before. Let's say this too, Capricorn. For some of you, there can be a friend group that you're letting go of. There can be even a desire to reconcile in a way that you may be letting go of. There can be a, like, I was trying to do this, like, we needed to get on the same page with one another. With the Hanged Man there, you can be saying, I'm going to allow this to be what it's going to be. This doesn't mean that you're going to let go in a way where you're going to abandon something. It can mean more so that you can move into a place of going more in flow with it, to respect the rhythm of things. So if something's going to come together, it's going to come together. If something is not going to come together, it's not going to come together. Because I'm seeing so much energy tirelessly that you have put in such a dedicated way. I feel even like this is showing you doing everything that you can hear, everything that you could hear in this situation. And so there can be this feeling of like, I want this to come together so badly, but with the Hanged Man there can be really letting the cosmic plan unfold here rather than pushing your agenda. And I feel too like it's been delayed, you getting to this point as well. Like there's so much stuff that's been getting in the way of being able to see clearly. And I don't get this being on your end. Like you should have just looked harder at it. It doesn't seem like that. It seems like those clouds were there. They were there for a reason. It was blocking what you needed to be able to see this. But now that those clouds are dissipating, you're beginning to see what's unraveling and what's unfolding here. And it can have you feeling left with a lack of a sense of direction, because you're being put in this position where there are choices to be made. And you get to choose which avenue you want to go down, what you feel is appropriate here. I feel too this sentiment of all paths lead home here for whatever it is that you decide. You can feel too like you're getting better at being patient with processes that try you, that test you, that take continuous effort being put into them. Because we're ending this spread with the Hanged Man, I do get this sense of you looking at things and saying, ultimately, by mid-February, you're going to look at this and say, what's going to be is what's going to be, and I need to allow that to happen here. And it can be different than how you were feeling before. Maybe before you were like, no, I'm going to like try my best to make this happen. And it could have really been like, I want it to be my way. I want this to go my way in this situation. And now it feels like letting the situation show you what it is, rather than forcing it to be something that it's not. There can be a conflict that you've been waiting for it to be settled, or there can be something going on where you know that there's going to be change that's connected with like, is the path going to go this way? Is the path going to go that way? What's going to be happening here? That being said, it feels like a recognizing very deliberately where you are channeling your energy. I'm seeing Knight of Wands and I'm seeing Judgment. So this is looking into, how am I using my energy? Are there ways that I'm using my energy where it would be better used for something else or directed in a different direction? Because you only have so much. So that Knight of Wands, this is a finite source of energy that you have. You want to make sure that you're not using it recklessly. You want to make sure that you're using it to accomplish what you want to be accomplishing here. So there can be something that you're looking into where you're like, maybe I wasn't thinking this through and I was using my energy for this, or I was looking into that over there, or I was talking to this guy over here. And it can be something that you're looking into and saying, is that really how I want to be using my time and my energy here? Is this what I want to be using it for? And do I feel like this is accomplishing something that I want to accomplish as well? So it can be something where you really are going to come into this place of letting it be how it's going to be, and coming to a place of allowing, and maybe that wasn't really where things started. With the Hanged Man, I don't see a sense of giving up. It can just be, I see it more as if you have been trying to force something, or if you have been delaying, it can be a time where you're gonna move more with the flow of things rather than be fighting against it, trying to make something happen that it may not be time for that to be happening. But yeah, it could have been something where maybe it felt good to use your energy in that way, at least like to the ego anyway, or to that part of you that is more so like wanting something immediately, or like getting really excited about something. Maybe it was easy to tap into that and to not think so deeply about what it is that you're doing, and now this can be a time where you want to pay closer attention to what you have going on. But yeah, I was seeing Judgment and seeing that go back in with Four of Cups, which can be avoiding taking a closer look when it's really necessary to be doing that. But you could have been like, I don't want to know what I'm gonna find out if I really do that. Pay closer attention, take that closer look. Because yeah, this can be something that you want it to come together so badly, but to the point where you could be not seeing the bigger picture here. And you can be like working against the situation actually. I am seeing Six of Wands on the bottom of the deck, so I do see things coming together. I'm getting an activation. It feels like it's in the back of the crown, more towards the left side, like just slightly off-centered towards the left side of the crown. I'm getting an activation. So this is really going to help you see what's going on here. Actually, this feels more like third eye. So yeah, maybe there's just something that's being unblocked here where you weren't totally receptive to what you were being shown before, and now you can be opening up to that and saying, I just want to see what's going on here. But I do feel like this was a difficult situation to find your bearings within, given what was going on. So it's not, just keep in mind, this isn't like you weren't paying close enough attention before. Initially, I'm seeing something where it's like nobody would have been able to see through that. All of those clouds were there. You can't just blow them over. They have to dissipate when they're going to dissipate, but now it feels like they are dissipating. The sun is coming out, it's dissipating, you're starting to see things clearly. It's been taking a while to figure this out, and you can say too, it's been taking a while for you to figure out like what your intuition has really been telling you, what those feelings have really been meaning. And now this is going to clarify the path for you so you can make a choice here and figure out what you want to be doing. Okay, we're gonna jump to, I'm seeing Sagittarius here, and I'm also seeing Neptune, and I'm seeing Queen of Wands. We're gonna jump to the second half of February. Trying to use your brain in a time where it can feel difficult to do that. Figuring out what your intuition has been telling you all along. Yeah, there's something here about a plan that needs to be done, but it could have been something where there was some anxiety that was holding you back, specifically connected with, if I make this choice, then what's going to be happening, and what if it's something scary that ends up happening, what if it's something that I don't want that's going to be happening, and that really could have been delaying you. But you've been working hard on things. I'm seeing like a lot of things that you've been setting up for your life entirely, things that you've been putting together, just constant energy you've been giving. recognizing your own place and capability within this. Yeah, this has been a Saturn cycle that you've been moving through, so these take time. The light just went out. What I'm seeing is something was going on where there's been this sense of division mentally, and because of that division mentally, where something is going in, like a concept, an idea, a notion of something, and it goes from you feeling settled to then being like, what do I do with this? And then that's where it feels like you know that something is going to change, but you're still in that process of calculating what exactly to do here, how to take action. And you could have felt really like pulled in a lot of different directions about it. Okay, I'm seeing 3 of Cups go in with the Fool, so it looks to me like there can be new people that you're connecting with. There can be like a new social situation or environment that you're going to be getting into. This can be like socially, I'm going to take this leap of faith, or I'm going to be exploring new relationships, friendships, or like groups or clubs or hobbies. But I see it as being related to like people that you'd be connecting with. So this can be something where like you want to unite, but there will also be social situations that are connected with that as well. And this can be even an expanding or growing of a circle. For some of you too, like for those of you, actually, I don't even think that it has to be another person. Some of you, there can be another person that's involved in this situation, but whether there is or there isn't, I'm seeing Neptune play a role within this. And Neptune can kind of skew things, especially when it comes to what we want versus what the reality of the situation is, when those are different things. And so there's a need to work through where you're seeing things clearly and basing your logic off of that versus where you may be projecting and it's not totally applicable within the situation, and then it keeps you sort of suspended where there can't be a movement because you can't apply the energy. So I'm seeing that be a process that you've been working through, all to get to a place of truth. Ultimately, that's going to be what happens with Neptune, to really see everything as it is and the wisdom that you gain from that, the insight. Okay, so second half of February, you may want to backtrack a little bit. It feels like I'm venturing out, and then you can have this feeling of like wanting to go back. I'm not seeing that be suggested by any means. It feels like your shadow coming up and being like, aren't you uncomfortable? Don't you want to take a couple steps back here? Keep going forward. Oh, I saw this in another reading that I did not that long ago. Let me see if I can remember. Okay, there was this reading that I did for Aquarius, and the title is You Can Avoid ... I don't remember what the rest of it was, but I'm seeing the same exact thing come out. 4 of Cups and 2 of Cups. When I see this, I get this feeling of like wanting to avoid something, and you can even ultimately be trying to outrun yourself. So something's going on in the beginning of the second half of February where you can be trying to outrun yourself a little bit. We're feeling like it just feels like this notion of wanting to get away. This can also be not feeling a relationship as well. That can be something that comes up too. Can be taking a little bit of a break to come back together with yourself. But yeah, maybe you were avoiding Maybe you were avoiding yourself in some way. There's a need. Okay. Feeling upset about something. Five of Cups is going to be feeling disappointed about something going on. Okay, some of you too, there can be like a rejection of some sort, but also too, this can be if I'm choosing my relationship with this person, I'm abandoning myself in some way. So there could have been possibly some abandonment, some self-abandonment here, coming to a place of settling down, tuning in, and recognizing that something's not all it's cracked up to be. And you can feel like there's some emotional turmoil that's connected with this as well. Because of this going on, there can be a part of you that's like, oh, I don't want to have to take care of things. You can be like not wanting to have all the weight of responsibility on you. Simultaneously, it feels like you're looking to develop a plan here, and this can even be something for work, this can be something for business, this can be something for the part of your life that you are building currently, connected with what you're investing in, where you're putting your energy, and choices that need to be made about that. So yeah, this can be like a crossroads that you're feeling as it relates to that. And I'm seeing the Nine of Swords come out, again, connected with the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is something where you're meant to be taking action on it. Like, this is the plan, then I need to follow through with that. But there can be something here that's bugging you out a bit. Like, yeah, this is the thing to be doing here. And having King of Pentacles, this is the part of you where you're making smart moves here. You're not just doing things without thinking about it. King of Pentacles is that part of you that's very strategic, responsible, paying attention, deliberate with the moves that you make. And so it feels very obvious this is the plan to, this is the way to be going here with this. Having that Nine of Swords can be, but what's going to happen? What am I going to be able to do? And so it feels like really needing to take care of that part of yourself that may psych yourself out here, and then want to backtrack when this is what's needed. And you're doing this for you. You're doing this because you know these are the choices that you're making to bring yourself together with yourself, to connect, to stay connected with yourself. This is the way to be going, and to feel joined and connected and merged with what it is that you're doing. I wonder too, for some of you, if you can feel this feeling of being sad about moving forward because you could have expected it to look a little bit differently. And so there can be this piece of you that's like, I thought that this was going to be happening up ahead. And so now I kind of want to run away from this altogether, abandon this altogether, or I don't feel as inspired or motivated now because I thought it was going to look like this, but now I'm recognizing it's not going to look like that. And so there can be this part of you that knows that if you are to move through this, you also have to face and reconcile with something emotionally that can feel upsetting. It can be something that you don't really want to accept here. And it's specifically associated with what you thought the future was going to be given this situation, and it going differently than that, and having a hard time reconciling with this. Even though it seems like, okay, obviously and clearly this is what's going to be happening. You see what's going to be unfolding. You can just have a hard time looking at that. So it's not that you don't know anymore. You know what the future holds now. You know what's going to be happening. You know what the plan is. You know where things are going. You know what's going to be in that episode up ahead. At the same time, you can be like, you didn't want that to be what was going on in the episode. And so there can be this part of you that's like, I don't even want to deal with this. I don't even want to have to make these moves here. It's like, I feel like you had hopes for what was going to happen. This differs from that. And there can be a part of you that just like doesn't want that to be, and that resistance really can take you backwards a bit here. Work with yourself through that. Because I get this feeling of, because these were my I wasn't going into this like totally open-minded. Because I had these exact particular expectations of it, and that's not what's happening. I'm no longer looking forward to this, and so I'm having a hard time motivating myself to move forward. That's it. In moving forward through this is where you will find the Two of Cups, but it cannot be looking exactly as you thought it was going to be. And so you can be like, I'm not excited about this plan anymore. I'm not happy about it, or I feel like emotional conflict about this now because I'm having a hard time accepting this situation for what it is. And it's really pulling down my sense of motivation here. It's like draining that energy. So it can be a time where you find something, like a new source of inspiration here, so you can carry on and keep moving forward. I also don't feel like this is one of those times where the whole situation is ruined. It just feels like in one area, feeling upset about something or feeling disappointed, feeling down about it, and needing to find something to tune into and to connect so you can move forward. So you can get through this part to get to the more enjoyable parts that you want to be experiencing. But yeah, I get this feeling of there being this part of you that can just be having a hard time getting up and showing up and doing what needs to be done here, like what you really expect of yourself to be doing, because you have a role, an important role that you're playing within this. And so if you don't show up, like nobody's going to show up to be doing that. So like, you know that you need to, and at the same time there can be this part of you that like doesn't want to. I don't think because you don't want to. I think this is more so just because you're upset with something that's going on, which is normal to be feeling. So in you working through and integrating the way that you feel, you're going to feel reconnected and re-inspired again. You just like may not be feeling it as this is happening. And this is going to be reconciling with and even mourning the future that you thought was going to be happening versus what actually is happening. And that's where this is. So you can stop the clock here. You can pause to get a view of this, to see what's going on, to reflect, and then to move forward. That more than anything, you don't need to be backtracking here. It just feels like there can be a part of you that kind of wants to scurry away a little bit. But the part of you that's the King of Pentacles, where this part of you that's responsible, paying attention to what's going on, that part of you knows not to go backwards, even though it can feel difficult looking forward right now. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.